Hello and welcome. My name is Matthias Hahn. Today I'm going to introduce our PAT testers. You may already know our PAT cell, 3-electrode test cell, and those testers are specifically made for this type of test cell. You can also use other small format test cells like coin cells, space lock cells, small pouch cells, but it's not for big batteries. So what I said, we have two flavors of these testers. This one is up to 16 channels. The name is PAT tester I16 with a temperature chamber. So up to 16 cells sit inside this temperature chamber between plus 10 and plus 80 degrees. And the small tester, the PAT tester X8, is comprised of this PAT controller and up to 8 of those PAT channels. So for both devices, the channel boards are identical. So this channel has the identical spec as this channel here inside the PAT tester I16. It has a control voltage of plus minus 7 volts, plus minus 100 milliamps cell current, and impedance between 100 microhertz and 100 kilohertz. The channels are fully independent of each other. They can be controlled by different users. Typically you will have those testers seated in the laboratory and the users will sit in their offices, and from there, from different laptops, for example, they can control the different channels. They can set up the tests and they can gather the data coming in. A very special feature of this channel is that it has a connection matrix, what we call a connection matrix. And this means that you can connect the 3 terminals of the PGStat, working, counter and reference, in various ways with the 3 electrodes of your test cell. And in that way you can control either the full cell voltage, one of the 2 half cell voltages, or you can even have the current between one of the 2 big electrodes and the reference electrodes, the ring-shaped reference electrodes. You can do all this just by software control, no need to plug any cable. All this is done, all the switching is done inside the channel board. Okay, a few details about the PAT tester X8, which is comprised of the PAT controller and up to 8 PAT channels. The PAT controller is basically a PC with internal hard disk, which is, in case you lose network control, you have no connection to the local area network, then data are stored inside the PAT controller on this hard disk, and this is for days and weeks. You have the data on a safe place here. The PAT controller is connected to the power supply and to the wall outlet, and it is also connected via a second cable to the local area network. Up to 8 PAT channels are plugged into the PAT controller via USB Type-C cables. This PAT channel is a fully featured potentiostat, galvanostat, impedance analyzer. The test cell is directly plugged into this socket here and will then be immediately recognized in the L software application. Or alternatively, you can connect the test cell via this sub-D connector here. So in that case, you need a cable. You need a connection cable and a passive docking station here like this. Then connect the cable here at the PAT channel. And now you can test the cell in this external test stand instead of directly in the socket of the PAT channel. And so this is an opportunity in case you want to measure at very extreme temperatures. For example, in a temperature chamber, then this cable goes to the cable feed through into the chamber, and this can be run at between -20 to +80 degrees Celsius. You can of course have more than one PAT channel connected. I add another one. So this is hot pluggable. You can directly, while the machines are running, connect a second or a third or more PAT channels via USB. And the next device will show up in the L software. The PAT tester X8 is not only for testing PAT cells, you can also have adapters in order to plug in coin cells. You can use your own special devices, test cells with 2 or 3 electrodes. You can test spage lock cells, small pouch cells. The only limitation is the voltage, ±7 volts, and the current, ±100 milliamps. You can also nicely use the PAT channel inside the glove box. So in that case, you would not use this external stand, but instead you would place the PAT channel or several PAT channels inside the glove box, and for example put the PAT controller on top of the glove box, have a feed through you can get from us, and so connect up to 4 PAT channels via one feed through to the PAT controller, which is a very convenient way of testing the PAT cells or other small test cells inside the glove box environment without having the problem with the large parasitic cables. Because all the electronics, the channel board, is here just below the test cell. So overall, the PAT tester X8 is a small, most flexible solution if you do very special things with special test cells. If you want to run the test inside the glove box, inside the temperature chamber, if you want to make strange, crazy things, then this is the right solution for you. So now on the PAT tester i16, in case you need more channels, it's not enough to have up to 8 channels, and you need to have a small footprint for the given number of test channels, then probably the PAT tester i16 is a perfect solution for you. Basically what you have here is a PAT controller plus 16 of those channels, and this together is built into this machine and combined with a temperature controlled chamber +10 to +80 degrees Celsius. So this is now the solution with the smallest possible footprint. Again, you have the features of the PAT controller now included in this chamber. So you have internal PC with hard disk storage, failure safe in case of outage of the network. You can plug in almost any type of PAT cell, so the standard PAT cell, and as well the PAT cell press, where you can measure the gas pressure inside. You can plug in the PAT cell gas, as long as it is not connected to the gas pipes. You can plug in the new optical test cell, and once you plug in the test cell in a socket here, this cell will show up with its digital number stored on the cell in L software on your PC. And then you can directly put in the parameters for this test cell, and even in case you take out the test cell and, for example, you switch between sockets, the software will identify this cell automatically without repeating this process of defining what is inside the test cell. We have, of course, adapters for other common test cells, small test cells like coin cells. You can also place small pouch cells here. We have an adapter for this. So to wrap that up, the PStat I16 is a high throughput solution when you are going for more than a few PAT cells, up to 16 channels, very small footprint, temperature control +10 to +80 degrees. High throughput testing. A few details about the PAT tester. So to wrap that up, the PAT tester I16 is an ideal high throughput solution if you have more test cells for up to 18 test cells. 18?